Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Rutz, the Director of Teaching and Learning here in Centennial School District, and I'd like to speak with you about the 3 key instructional shifts in mathematics that came about with the Pennsylvania adoption of Common Core state standards in 2010. The first key shift was a focus on fewer topics in mathematics. What new curricula wants to do and standards aligned curricula wants to do is to avoid the inch deep and mile wide approach to mathematics and instead focus on fewer topics, but to drill down in a much deeper fashion. Another of the key instructional shifts in mathematics is what we call coherence. And this is that topics in math are linked across grades. Much like with the reading English language arts standards, which are scaffolded so that students read more and more complex text as they go through K through 12, math skills are scaffolded so that they build upon each other year over year. What this ends up doing is help students build deeper and deeper understanding of mathematics. The third key instructional shift in mathematics from 2010 is what we call rigor generally. And under that umbrella are 3 aspects of math. The first, most of us are familiar with from our own experiences in a math classroom, and that is what we call procedural fluency. That was learning the formulas and knowing the computations and learning all the algorithms to do math. But on top of that, or in addition to that, is what we call conceptual understanding of math. This is understanding the big why math works the way it works, because it is in and of itself a type of language. So that drilling down deeper into math concepts and seeing it through different lenses and different perspectives to understand the big why of math. And third, and some feel most important, is what we call math application. And that is the ability to use math in real world situations and to get students, anyone, to be able to that level of math application means that we really need to build, support the conceptual understanding and the procedural fluency within math. We are blessed here in Centennial to have 2 really strong, effective math curricula in our K-12 math program. For K-5, we are utilizing the Eureka Math from Great Minds math curricula, which is aligned to state standards and contains all 3 of these instructional shifts. Our secondary math program, which we are now in year 3 officially with, is CPM Math, College Preparatory Math. This too is a math curriculum that's aligned to state standards and aligns with the components of all of the major instructional shifts coming out of the Common Core adoption in 2010. We are very proud and very appreciative of the time and dedication that our teachers, K-12, have put into learning and implementing these 2 new curricula.
What's 3 plus 7 plus 6?
6.
Dude, rocking it. Love that.
2.
What is 60 plus 16?
It equals one of my favorite teams, 76. 76.
Eureka Math provides what the kids call new school math. So they're able to solve problems in a way that you and I did not learn. In fact, even maybe their parents didn't learn. But they're able to explain it and they understand it. And they get excited when I solved a problem differently than he solved a problem. And they're able to explain it to each other.
1, 2, 3, showdown. Dude. So proud of you.
Eureka Math, to me, is a mastery-based program. It focuses on a topic for an extended period of time. It's mastery-based because each lesson, it'll start off with a little bit of introductory, but then every day it goes a little bit deeper, and then a little bit deeper. I like to think of Eureka Math as a layering process, where every day we kind of go a little bit deeper, we kind of peel a layer back and ask a little bit deeper questions. And with that becomes a stronger sense of understanding. It's not so choppy. If you introduce a student to a topic for just one day and never revisit it, well, how likely are they to retain that information?
Dr. Bedden is buying the teachers lunch. So we asked them to vote on their favorite lunch. The table shows the number of votes for each lunch.
Eureka is a math program that builds on math understanding. It's something that the students are taught multiple strategies in order to solve the problems. One way to solve the problem is not the correct way. What I like about Eureka is that they're able to talk to me about how they solved it.
Now I say kids ready to attack a problem. They can break down what they're doing. They can physically manipulate things and problem solve, and therefore they're much more successful when they hit those roadblocks, when they hit those moments when they are struggling and need to really attack and break down and think about things. It's not just going through the motions and going through the algorithm and saying, oh look, this didn't work, I got the answer wrong. Now it's, oh okay, let me go back and see what else can I do, what else has my teacher taught me, what physical tools can I get out, what can I draw, what can I build to help me solve this problem.
Our students now are hearing the same message, K-5. And that has been missing in our district from years past. And now with one solid program that is driven around the Common Core, our students are speaking language consistent in a K room all the way up to 5th grade. Strategies such as number bonds, strategies that exist across grade levels where now they can apply it to any skill.
There's multiple ways to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. It's not just one particular way. And so as a teacher, I can now try out different things with students. If one procedure's not working and they're not getting it, how else can I present it so that they do understand the concept? So that when they leave here, they truly have a good foundation, so that when they hit middle school and high school math, they are much more capable of being successful.
The Hanover research suggested that we include more manipulatives, have more consistent manipulatives for our elementary school children. So with that, we purchased Didax kits. Didax is a company that provides manipulative kits specific to each grade level within Eureka. All of our teachers, special education, general education, now have equal access to manipulative kits at every grade level. But now with these tools in their hands, our students are able to manipulate, generate their understanding, depose different questions than they could through a virtual environment.
So the Didax kits are great for allowing each of the students to have the manipulatives and to have the physical pieces to be able to see the math, to see what they're doing and truly have a true understanding of it. To physically, even in the 5th grade level, to physically be able to divide something up and see that process taking place is going to build that deeper understanding.
Out of all of our research here, I'm happy to see that we have invested in brand new manipulative kits that are consistent. So now our students are using and talking and discussing, and our teachers are talking and discussing about the same tools at the same grade level, and they can actually see what it's like at the next grade level.
One other aspect that we do utilize too is Zern. That is a whole other great program on the computer that the kids use, and it teaches them step by step by step how to solve the problem. So they're not just listening to me, they're not just listening to each other, but they're hearing it from a third person, and they're able to do each part to their best.
So when we first started the conversation around professional development regarding Eureka with Great Minds, we provided our teachers with choice. And there were 2 formal trainings to start off with Eureka. They were called Launch, which is option number 1, and Fluency, which is option number 2. Teachers had the option to start with what are the basic components within Launch. Some of our teachers were early adopters to Eureka during a pilot, and so those teachers felt that they understood the components of a Eureka lesson. So they jumped right into professional development option number 2 called Fluency. And in Fluency, the teachers really get to learn all the different types of fluencies within math.
And then Great Minds also taught us the structure of the lesson. They taught us that fluency doesn't have to begin in the beginning. We could use fluency when we're lining the kids up. Do it then, real quick. What's 5 plus 3? What's 9 plus 9? It was just something that they gave us the tricks to the trade.
The PDs really helped with that in some of the pieces I was missing myself. And from there, that has allowed me to help students, especially on the individual level. When someone's not getting it, how else can I present this to them? You know, dip into my bag of resources.
In addition to the Eureka Professional Development, Launch Fluency, and we're heading to customization at the end of this school year. We've also implemented Penn Literacy Network Professional Development.
They connected math and writing, which for some of us, we've never really done before. The other thing that they also hit home was problem-solving strategies. That was another really big push that they had, and we were able to create our own problems, and then they showed us how to use those in the classroom and have the kids solve them.
What our teachers are doing day in and day out is quite remarkable.
So I think, in a nutshell, when I think about CPM, what it's looking at developing is a lot of the soft skills that students will need as they kind of progress through high school and then into college and into their careers.
So CPM stands for College Preparatory Mathematics, but it also stands for the 3 pillars of what the whole curriculum is about. So the C can mean cooperative learning, which is the students working in teams of 4. The P stands for problem solving. So it is not just solving, drill and practice solving problems. They have to have a big problem that they're all working on and using the skills that the lesson taught them. And then the M is for mixed-based learning, which is the review preview.
How the program works is it's more of a spiral curriculum. So when the students see a standard early on or at any point throughout the year, they still will get a chance to see it again and again throughout the year. So they will be more likely to retain that information.
CPM encompasses more than just the procedures of math. It is about process, it is about application, it is about working together and listening to the ideas of the people in your team. Every person in the group has a role, so everybody is responsible for some part of discovering the problem.
I'd say in the past we used to teach a skill and the kids would spit back a repeated skill. Now they are working cooperatively with each other. They are making connections. They're having mathematical conversations. Instead of just regurgitating facts, they're making connections and they're understanding the concepts so much better than before.
Being able to kind of explain or justify the reasoning, and that is a big part of CPM. And what I like too is the fact that they're writing a lot. With that, they're getting a deeper understanding of what they know. And I think that whereas with our previous curriculum, I felt like it was much more superficial, I feel like this really kind of gets down into a deeper understanding.
Being in a position where I can be in classrooms from 6th to 12th grade, I get to see the progress or the progression in students' learning while they were using CPM. What I've noticed, which has been fantastic to see, is some concepts that in the past, before CPM, that have been pretty difficult for students, I can see that they are retaining that information and they're grasping those concepts in a deeper way. So CPM does a 3-phase approach. They focus on curriculum, instruction, and assessment. So the way that this professional development was rolled out was teachers were actually immersed in a CPM experience. So it was almost like I remember the first day we had the CPM training, the feedback we got was amazing because the teachers got to experience what the students would feel like when in an actual CPM classroom.
Part of the training when we first learned the program, we were first piloting, we met the 3 trainers who were actual teachers in classrooms just like ours. They did all the training. It was great to have that personal, they're actually teaching what we're currently doing. So when I got stuck with something, I could email them and say, hey, do you have an idea for? They were excellent, they were hands-on, They did the program with us like we were the students, and we learned what it was like to be a student. We then could turn it around and say, hey, this is how I could teach it.
The instructors that they had were quite knowledgeable. I think that because they were actual classroom teachers, it really helped us to connect with them because they were experiencing the same things that we were, and they were able to give us advice. They had been doing it for several years. So they just had a good understanding of it, and I think just the fact that they were still in the classroom really just spoke to people and connected, and their enthusiasm for it, I think, was effective.
As both an educator for over a quarter of a century and as a dad, I must say it is a sight to behold to watch students both in the K-5 Eureka Math curricula and 6 through 12 in the CPM curricula. It's not the math that I remember. It is much more engaging, it's much more thoughtful, it's much more conceptual, and to be able to have conversations with students around the why of math. So they can explain the algorithm, they can explain the formula, but it goes deeper than that. They're able to talk mathematically, and that's a real shift, a good shift that we're seeing in Centennial.